early fall camp movers and shakers for Nebraska. And let's talk about this because there's a lot of guys early on. I'm going to put one out there. You might be surprised by this one. Turner Corcoran.
Okay.
I've heard just some good buzz on him coming back off injury. And, you know, I think a lot of us, including myself, have just assumed that's Teddy Prohaska's job at left tackle. But do not sleep on Turner Corcoran. I think Turner Corcoran is hungry. He's motivated. He's angry. You know, I saw him at Hy-Vee this summer, and he didn't even look at me. You can tell he's mad. You know, you've dealt with that when players think we're the, you know, they're just
100%, Sean. I've sensed that about Turner for some time. I don't think he likes me.
No, he doesn't like. I mean, I think he's mad at all of us because, you know, he's dealt with a lot of stuff, and you know, that's a guy.
He could be wrong. I want to throw that out there.
No, but you know, he's battled ever since that very beginning of his career. We looked incredible at Rutgers
so that would have been the year
2020.
COVID.
He comes in, takes Brennan Hymas's job when Brennan Hymas opted out, did not play against Rutgers, and he looked incredible. And then the next year, like, wow, they got a great left tackle for the next 4 years, and he suffered an injury and
pre-camp
never was the same. Like,
nope.
In that kind of just knocked his confidence back, and you just didn't see that same Turner Corcoran again. And now, I mean, he's back and hungry and motivated.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about him coming back from injury for 4 years. That's unfortunately, it's sort of defined his career, and I can see why he's hungry. And it would be a great story because he was a highly recruited player from Kansas, and you figured he'd be a cornerstone player maybe in the program. I always remember him warming up, watching him, going down for the Oklahoma game in Norman, watching warmups, and just watching him because I thought, man, that kid's got a lot. He's got a lot on his shoulders as a young guy here in Norman, and he wasn't right. You could tell he wasn't right.
Yeah, they had that one. I think his name was Nico.
Yeah, not a kicker.
The edge rusher.
Right. I can't remember his name, but yeah,
Benetti.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And they just, I mean, he was the difference in that game. I mean, Nebraska, for all intents and purposes, went blow for blow with Oklahoma in that game.
They sure did. And I can't remember that matchup. I'm going to trust your word on that, Sean.
Well, Gabe Urban tore his ACL on a play that was going to be a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some moments in that game that, I mean, the whole 2021 season was like that, though.
It was an incredible game. But anyway, Corcoran, you saying he's a guy to watch is really helpful to Nebraska because, I mean, they need Satterfield talked about how much he loves the depth of the O-line. I like it. I think it's got good depth. Now, I don't look at it as the same as the D-line depth, but if guys like Corcoran are really healthy and ready to push Teddy and maybe win the job, that'd be great. It'd be great for everybody.
All right, who do you got? Any movers and shakers early on your radar?
Well, you threw out one. I'm just looking at it right now, Quinn Clark. I don't know that I would classify him as mover and shaker as much as someone to watch
for this year.
Yeah, I think he could be. I mean, Sean, as far as I know, they still have him at receiver, and it's not like there's a lot of spots open there. Movers and shakers. Oh, I mean, there's some obvious. Well, there is a name that we don't mention nearly enough, and that's Javin Wright. For some reason, Wright gets lost in conversation. I don't know why, because he's absolutely one of the best looking players from a physical standpoint. He had 51 tackles, which was second on the team, tied with John Bullock.
He's a grown man.
He's a grown man. If there's a guy that can come up with interceptions and force fumbles, it's him. He's proved it last year with the interceptions late in the season. He's a striker. I mean, I'm not saying he hits like his old man did back in the day, but he'll strike you. He's healthy. That's the big thing. He's healthy. So I keep a close eye on guys like that because those are the kind of athletes I like the most. Long levers, guys that come off the bus and you're like, oh yeah, that's what it takes to win in a big.
I'm going to put one out there, Isaiah Garcia Castaneda.
Good one. That's a great one. That's a great one.
It feels like he's been here since '97.
It does. I mean, like he's your age.
I mean, he's been around. I mean, he's gone in the portal. He returned.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's had a career now,
and he could be your punt returner.
And he's back, and where he fits in that rotation or the role. But
well, hold on, I think he could be the punt returner.
I mean, he had over 100 yards in a game in Ireland.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I wondered what the other day when they talked about him as a punt returner, if I liked it. I just wonder if that's his way of like saying, okay, I'm going to be involved somewhere. If it's as a punt returner, I'll do that, because I know from working with Bush that when they have their big meeting of the team and they say, raise your hand for kickoff return, a bunch of hands go up. When it's raise your hand for punt return, maybe a few go up. I bet you he fired his up. And you know what? He's the type of guy that could do it. He's a tough guy with good hands. Although he's dropped a few, but I like that name a lot. Another older guy that's probably pretty hungry.
You got one more mover and shaker you want to throw out there?
Well, can we just throw out and go from old guy to young again? We haven't talked much about Vincent Shavers lately. I mean, again, with these other guys like Carter Nelson, Ja'Cory Barney, and Dylan, of course, we don't talk much about Shavers anymore. But I would say watch Shavers, because I think they could use some explosive depth at that inside linebacker position.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong here, but there are really 4 true freshmen, I think, that have emerged on the football team: Dylan Raiola, Ja'Cory Barney, Carter Nelson, and Vincent Shavers.
Would you stop it there?
Today, those are the 4 I'm most confident in that will play more than 4 games.
Yeah.
I think after that, it becomes a coach's decision.
Okay. No,
but
I think you're right
4, barring injury, are burning their red shirts.
Yeah.
Period.
Oh God, yes. 100.
I mean, I don't know, after that, maybe a Quinn Clark could get up there, but I think and that's how it should be. You shouldn't really have to play a ton of freshmen.
No, totally agree. Especially a team like Nebraska that doesn't have a lot of turnover. They don't have transfer portal turnover.
I mean, remember under Osborne, like he hardly played any.
I do remember.
And you had to be like Bobby Newcomb good,
yeah,
to play as a true,
especially
freshman
up front. I mean, you didn't play guys. You didn't play young guys. Oftentimes, you didn't play sophomores on the offensive line. I mean, it was pretty rare. Freshman playing was freaky. Even sophomores, though, it was tough to get a spot up front.